Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition live stream where we are solving some of the key roadblocks in building AI workflows. Imagine this: a new AI model gets released and we are excited to try it. But we first need to set up an account, then billing with a credit card, generate an API key, figure out how to use it, search through the documentation, and so on and so on. Today, we are excited to launch BuildShip Keyless Nodes that solves exactly this problem. Keyless nodes let you instantly build and deploy AI workflows using any popular LLM without juggling API keys or having to load up $10 of credit on 10 different billing platforms. Run any model from OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, Groq, the other Groq, Diffbot, DeepSeek, and Perplexity, using BuildShip credits to cover the API cost. You can access the keyless nodes today from the BuildShip node library. They have a special symbol next to them to indicate keyless node. Keyless nodes are ideal for rapid experimentation and initial prototyping, letting you compare the performance of different LLM providers in your AI workflows and select the right LLM for your use case. You can always also bring your own keys as you scale and to optimize costs. Let's jump into a demo. We are going to build an app called AI Panel of Experts that takes a question or prompt as input and sends it to every major LLM provider in parallel and compares their outputs and puts them on a leaderboard. For building this app's backend, we will be using BuildShip with keyless AI nodes. And for the front end, we used bolt.new, but you can connect it to anything that can call an API. To get started, simply remix the AI Panel of Experts template. We have added a link to it below the video. Once you have cloned it on your BuildShip workspace, all you need to do is give it a spin. There's no need to add any API key because the built-in keyless nodes use BuildShip credits instead. So let's go directly to the test panel. Let's enter the prompt. What are the top 5 AI automation use cases for VCs? And we can click run. We could add custom instructions, things like answer in 1 sentence or less, answer in 5 bullet points. We can also add a session ID so that the panel remembers our conversation history. And here's the output from the AI panel. We have the individual responses, and then we also have the summarized responses and scores from our aggregator. We can now ship this as an API by clicking on Connect, connecting our REST API call, which will generate a URL. And that generated an API URL that we can copy and call in our app. All we need to do is click Ship. We have now shipped this as an API, and you can use it to build your front end by going to the Usage tab and copying the AI handoff prompt. Which we can paste directly into Bolt. You can refine your UI look and feel to get the app up and running the way that you want, just like we did. It looks like the interface had one problem. We'll let it fix itself, and usually that works on the first try. Now we can test our suggested next question. And we get our AI model responses here. You can refine your UI look and feel just like we did to get the user interface that you want. And that's how easy it is to create and deploy AI workflows with BuildShip and Keyless. Let's go back into the workflow and take a look at our keyless nodes. This is our OpenAI keyless node. If you click on the key icon, depending on your choice or preference, you can use BuildShip credits for fast prototyping, or you can bring your own key when you've decided on a model and are ready to optimize costs. You can add keyless nodes to any BuildShip workflow. Just search for AI chat and look for the keyless icon. In each node, there are other selectable inputs like the model, the max output tokens, temperature, and even the output format, if supported by the service. With the OpenAI node, for example, you can choose to output a JSON object instead of regular text. We also have a node where you can select any model, ideal to place in workflows where you may want to change the model frequently without having to remove and add a new node. You can select any service from the dropdown to use in your workflow. The most current models are here in the model selection, which will dynamically pull the latest models to make sure you always have the best in class. So let's say we select the Groq node. It automatically pulls up the latest models, and we already have Llama 4 Maverick ready to go. We are adding more and more support for keyless nodes, including multimodal inputs and outputs. So look out for that soon. Keyless nodes let you instantly switch and compare AI providers, significantly reducing the complexity of experimenting with multiple LLMs. Eliminate unnecessary management of multiple accounts and idle credits across different AI platforms, especially in this economy. You can read the complete information about keyless nodes on our website and in our documentation. Accelerate your experimentation and validation cycles with immediate results, then integrate your own API keys when you're ready to scale. Start exploring today with BuildShip. Rapidly iterate your AI workflows, deploy them as APIs, and effortlessly transition to scalable, production-ready deployments. Tweet what you build with keyless nodes, and the most creative submissions will get 100,000 BuildShip credits. We're looking forward to seeing what you build. So this wraps up the announcement of the keyless node release. Now let's dive into a cool use case which you can remix and use today for your business. If you want to follow along, these demos will also be available on YouTube shortly as standalone tutorials. I get an AI SEO performance report sent to my inbox every week. It analyzes my performance on platforms like Perplexity, OpenAI, Web Search, and Diffbot, and gives me a summary of my overall performance, platform-specific recommendations, where I'm lacking, and actionable recommendations of how I can improve my AI SEO. This use case takes full advantage of our new keyless nodes, letting us use 5 different models in the same workflow without having to set up an API key or billing account with Groq, OpenAI, Perplexity, Diffie, and Gemini. You can build and ship this in just a few minutes using this template on BuildShip, and we'll set this up to be triggered by a REST API call by sending an email or to trigger once a week and send it right to your inbox. We even have a new AI handoff that we can use so that we can put it into any existing application and let the AIs talk to each other so we have less work to do. Let's dive into it. We're going to walk through a new feeling and very relevant use case for BuildShip's newly released keyless nodes. Let's come over here to our project and search for the template AI SEO audit. And we can click on it to remix the template. I love this template because it takes full advantage of our new keyless nodes. It accepts as input a target entity URL. We'll use BuildShip. Let's say our search context is no-code tools. This is how we want to show up when somebody searches Perplexity or OpenAI search, for example, for something similar to this search context. We'll send the email to myself with the report. And let's say we want to run 4 different search terms. We'll test this and then walk through the workflow. So first, this is going to scrape the URL that we provided it. It's going to look at the BuildShip homepage and look at the copy we used to describe BuildShip. It then is going to use Groq from XAI to create a list of search terms from the search query count, where it tries to find informational queries, transactional queries, navigational, and commercial investigation queries, trying to get a good understanding of what people might actually be searching for on these new tools. And it takes in the target entity URL, the context of what's on the web page, and then search context as well of what we're trying to show up as. I'll hide some of this. We then loop through our OpenAI web search, Perplexity AI web search, and Diffie web search for each of the generated search queries. We then structure the responses so that we can more easily work with it and feed all of that into our Gemini AI chat node. So this failed the first time. That's because we haven't added our OAuth to the send HTML email. So all I need to do is go down to the end of the workflow here and select my account that I want to add as OAuth. And we can run this one more time. Back up here, we're using Gemini AI chat to summarize all of the different search results that we got from each of these different providers. We're using that because it has a very long context window and it's cheap to use the long context window relatively. If you wanted to use another provider, you can use any of these models for your own use case by finding them in our Node Explorer. Just search for Keyless, and we have all of these and many more coming. There's even the AI chat select any model node. This one lets you choose any popular service as keyless, and it lets you switch between the models and services without having to switch nodes. All of the keyless nodes come with built-in conversational memory with a selectable length, temperature and max token values, and if supported by the model, you can choose whether to output text or a JSON object. We then do a little bit of formatting and take the markdown that was generated and turn that into an HTML email that we can send, and then send the email to the email address that we provided at the beginning. So now that the workflow is completed, we see that the report was generated in Markdown. Nice long report, and we will look at the results in a moment over in my email. Now we look at this email I just received where we get the AI SEO performance report for BuildShip. We have an overall performance summary, the search terms that were selected to be analyzed, no-code API development tools by no-code API platform, things that are relevant for people to be searching for. It gives us some references of the top no-code API tools, and then it gives us a platform-specific performance, content gap analysis, keyword opportunities, and actionable recommendations for how we can improve our AI SEO. Now back in BuildShip, this is great to run once as a test. How can we make this a part of our weekly workflow to understand how is our AI SEO performance today and how is it changing over time? So we have a couple options. We can come in here to the triggers, to the connect tab. We can call this with a REST API call. So you can do this on demand if you have an existing system that you want to ship a report to. To get that connected, just hit connect and everything is pre-configured for you. We also have an email trigger. If you click connect here, it generates a BuildShip email address that you can send the search context as the text of the message, the email address you want to send back to as the person you send it from, and then the target entity as the subject. So you can imagine putting this into a workflow or sending somebody in your company instructions of how to engage with this every time they want to. The third trigger that we'll add is a cron job. And this allows you to run this once a week or however often you want. Now, what you can do here to set this up, take this schedule, put it into Claude and say, I want this to run once a week on Mondays, UTC at 10, and then paste in the cron value. Copy that, put it back in BuildShip and hit connect. Now for this one, we have to type in manually the search context sent to and target entity and search query that we want. For this one, we should manually fill in the fields because this is going to run with the same values every week. Now we clicked ship to put this into production. Now that it's shipped, we can come over to the usage tab and come down here to the AI handoff. And this lets us copy this prompt. So instead of having to implement the JavaScript code into our applications, we have a nice handy dandy prompt, which gives us the sample inputs and outputs and lets us paste that into something like bolt.new, cursor, wherever we want to be able to integrate it into an existing system. We want to make sure you have the no-code tools to do as little work as possible and let the agents do it for you. And this is one step towards that. So this is a great example of how we can take advantage of BuildShip's new keyless nodes to build AI use cases that use many different models without having to set up a single API key. We have a lot of new AI features like this in the works. Follow us on X for updates and check out our Ship Week coming soon. We're looking forward to seeing what you build.